Hey y'all, it's Crystal. Thanks for coming by today. I thought I would do a little sort of mid-month check-in for January so far because I've read a few things and I don't want to forget about them. So, yeah, that's basically the gist. So, I've kicked off 2025 pretty great so far. I've read some really good things so far. I'm super jazzed about it, really. So, let's just get into it. In no particular order because things are just stacked over here. I did read The Salt Grows Heavy by Cassandra, Khaw. Very slim little novella. A really kind of dark fantasy, I guess you would call this, but quite dark, I will say. I don't know, it starts off, there is this woman who is a mermaid, and she is sort of fleeing basically like her husband and her children, because the children that have been born are now basically like destroying the world. And so she's fleeing, and she gets hooked up with this guy who's kind of a plague doctor who is, again, they're just running away together. And I don't know, the world that they find out there, I don't know, it is very dark and grim, and I really loved it, actually. So Cassandra Khaw has a writing style that is quite luscious and descriptive, and so that will work for you or it won't. I think that, her writing has been criticized for that in the past, about how some people feel it's just overly written. But when it's a short, slim thing like this, I think it worked really well. It really set the scene for this world that in so few pages that she created, and I could visualize in the characters, and I don't know, I thought this was pretty great. So I really liked it, and this cover is still stunning to me, and I don't know, I had a good time with this. If you're looking for a sort of dark fantasy fairy tale type story, give it a go, because I thought it was pretty great. So take that as you will, of course. Let's see, I finished, I got a stack of books over here. For the Death by TBR book club that, of course, I co-host with Kelly from Kelly Hood on Books. Black Cake by Charmaine. Wilkerson, oh my goodness. And to listen to the audiobook for this, and overall, I did really enjoy this. We've got, it's basically a family saga, essentially, told through kind of different storylines and time periods and through different characters. But essentially, facing this one family who their mother has passed away in the beginning, and she has left her two children a big, taped message, essentially, like spilling this secret. Is that mentioned here? I don't know. I won't say what it is then. I can't remember if it said it in the blurb or not. There's a secret she's been holding, basically, her and their entire lives, of course, as well. And so they sort of are set off on this, quest of, after learning the secret, some things that they need to do. But it's really just sort of this kind of lush story of this family as we dive back in the history of the mother, because she's from a Caribbean island, her life there growing up, and why she had to leave, how she ended up in some time in London for a while, and then they ended up in the States, and just because of situations, right? And then, just to her children and how their lives have been. The son is a pretty successful guy. The daughter has had sort of a rocky life herself. I don't know. I really liked this a lot. At times, I will say it felt a bit long, but overall, I felt the writing was really well. And as a debut, I'm totally interested in whatever else I know she's got a new book coming out this year. Totally down to read it. Super interested. I really love a good family saga, personally. And again, told through different storylines and different characters that we meet along the way. There are quite a lot of characters in here, I will say, that do flesh out the full story. But again, overall, I definitely really enjoyed it, and I thought it was just a a nice heck of a family drama when you definitely learn some juicy secrets. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. So if you don't, you can still join us in reading it for January. The Discord is always linked below. If you'd like to join us, it's just a very casual read along. You can read it any time of the year. Basically, it's gonna the spots will be there to chat. Very casual, kind of reading group that we enjoy. So Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson, I thought was good. So enjoyed that. Things that I finished. Okay, I did for Catuary, the event that it has cat themed prompts that Andrew over It Came From the Page is doing for his Patreon, and it's a fun Patreon to be a part of because we get to read things like this. Cat-A-Lyst by Alan Dean Foster. I was super jazzed to read this, and it was what I was expecting, but then it wasn't at the same time. I don't know if that makes sense, because I didn't love it as much as I wanted to, to say it, because it just sounds so amazing and fun, and I just was like, this is going to be really great. So, because we're following this movie star, Jason Carter, who does these more like kind of B-movie roles, and he really wants more out of life, but he's just such a pretty face that people just typecast him in these types of roles. Bless his heart, right? But so through things that happen, I can't even bring up to how he and this other woman that he works with on the set, a kind of older woman, they end up in Peru looking for this lost treasure. I don't know, it gets a little complicated, but there's also a couple cats though that come into play. Perhaps they find these sort of egg type shaped things in this old rundown ruins, and maybe the aliens are involved. I don't know. You have to find out yourself. But it was fun. I mean, it really was. Even it's like 325 pages. It felt a little long, especially towards the end. I was just kind of like, let's kind of wrap it up. I kind of see where this is going. Let's wrap it up. The ending felt really dragged out to me. But it is a fun little adventure with this ragtag group of characters. I mean, really a ragtag group of characters that are pretty fun. And there are 2 cats. There's 2 cats in this book that are a lot of fun to follow too. So, I mean, if you've got it on your shelf, I say give it a go and read it. Would I tell someone specifically go out, seek it, and read it? Not necessarily, but it's a fun one. It was fun. I mean, good 3-star book. You know what I'm saying? I then dove into this one, We Three, a graphic novel. This is by Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely. This was pretty fun. It's about this, usually we got a cat, a dog, and a rabbit right here. And they have been turned into these sort of almost like bioweapon super soldier type things by the government. And they learn that they're going to be decommissioned because this program is just not working how they want it, right? And they're like, what do you mean? No, we don't want this. And so they run away. And it's like, what happens after that? So they're trying to get tracked down and stuff like that. It's pretty bloody and gory, and I don't know, it's pretty fun. I will say the artwork was really nice, for bloody cats and stuff. But yeah, I thought it was pretty. It was a lot of fun. You see that? Yeah. So I don't know. I thought it's a nice little kind of one-shot story, and it was fun. I liked it. And there's a killer cat in there. So is that all I finished? I do believe no, it is not. I did also read 100 Shadows by Hwang Jungeon. This was translated from the Korean, and I started a little Asian reading some Asian authors in my K-pop Discord, because some of us were also readers in there. But I thought, so we do a book every other month, and this is our January February pick basically. This was super interesting, and I don't really quite know how to talk about it, but I don't. So let me try to talk about it. So we're basically thrown into the story when it opens up, and there's this woman, a guy and a woman, and they're walking through the forest, and we're trying to figure out what's going on. And so in this sort of world that's been created for us, people's shadows will sort of rise up and kind of, I say walk away. Shadows don't walk, but go away. And you're not supposed to follow the shadows because that leads you astray. So there's that kind of going on in the background of this. But the real story is set in a very modern feeling time in Korea, right? So our main character, the woman is, she just works a sort of, ho-hum, kind of low income job at this kind of electronics market. And, we learn a little bit how she got to work there and this market in general, which we learn is, there's sections to it, and eventually it's all going to be torn down for, making way for new, better things, right? And what that means for the people that work there. Definitely, of course, a lot in here about class and social standing, poor people, working these kind of jobs, and they're people too, and aren't their lives as valuable as other people's lives, and just because they're poor doesn't mean that you could take advantage of them. And there's a lot in here about that, and I thought it was really, really good. It was good. It was very, very good, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was quite short, but very effective. So yeah, I don't know what else to say, because it's kind of one of those books that's kind of hard to talk about, unless you kind of read it and experience it. So there's that. I really enjoyed that. A couple things in progress. I did start my short story collection for the month, Diabolica Americana, a Dark States horror compendium. Really enjoying these stories so far, very, very, very much. I read, I have a favorite. I loved this one, Hexenmeister by Sarah Tallinger. It was so good. So far, they've been set in different areas of the state, of the country. Super interesting so far. A lot of darkness, just horror things. Yeah, I don't know. It's good. It's been really great so far. So gonna keep trucking on that for the rest of the month. I did make a slow start on working my way through. I said I was gonna slowly work through I got several of these big anthology books, not just science fiction, but different ones. I actually found a couple more of the science fiction ones, like over there in the piles everywhere. But I've read just a couple so far. I mean, I'm just slowly making my way through this. I'm not in a rush, or anything like that. So far, they've been actually really interesting, and I really enjoy that. And so yeah, just gonna slowly make my way through this. It'll take me several months, and that's fine. So, but it's nice to just actually pick one of these up, and just mosey my way through it. It's been fun. I had this book on audiobook hold from my library for a while. Sometimes you wait a long time. This one came through, so I said, let me start it. I do own the book, so Stephen King's Bag of Bones. So I guess I'm about at 112-ish, page 112-ish, 100-ish pages in, we'll say. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. The audiobook's gone back to the library because I wasn't interested. I got to a point where I just was like, I don't really want to read this anymore. I don't want to listen to it anymore. I'm not super interested. The story itself sounds cool. It's sort of typical King dragging out stuff, and I just don't know if I'm going to go back to this one. It's a DNF for now. I don't know. I mean, right in the beginning of the book, okay, this guy who's this author. Oh my God. Every time I read about a character that's an author, but anyway. It is somewhat of a dairy story, though, because they do live in Derry. But they most of the time they spend. They also spend some time at a vacation home. So that's kind of where this is set. So it's not in Derry per se. But anyway, so this guy, his wife dies, and so it is a story of grief. But as he goes kind of back to their summer house after not being there for a while after her death, and I think this house is haunted or something like that, essentially. But he's now getting wrapped up. There's this young woman who's come into the story, who has like a little girl. I don't know. I just don't know. If you read this and really loved it, convince me to keep going. Otherwise, it's a DNF for now. I put the audiobook on hold again. It might take me a long time to get to it again, but convince me. Or not. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I also have The Drift on in progress by... I'm not remembering the author's name right now. This is a book club pick for the Fright Club, which is hosted by Cliff from Cliff Stark Gems and Christopher Secrets Reads. I'm liking this so far, but I'm not super far in. It's kind of viral, virus, type of story, and we're following a few different characters as they're dealing with that. Essentially, that's kind of where I'm at so far. And finally, I had a wild hair, really, on a whim. Just a flight of fancy. Decided it'd be a really great idea to start In Search of Lost Time by Marcel Proust. I don't know. I know that Greg over at the Bibliophile Reads had planned this read along for the year to read the whole thing. It's a 7-volume, almost 4,000 page tome, epic masterpiece of Marcel Proust. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna start that. So I got, the ebook was available from my library. I said, let me just give it a go. So I'm starting Swan's Way, which is of course the first volume. And why am I enjoying this? I am enjoying the hell out of this, and no one's more surprised than me. But I've never in my entire life read anything by Marcel Proust, much less anything like this on this scale. And I thought, really now's the time when you've got some other people reading along with you, to tackle something like this. There's a schedule, and you can talk about it along the way or whatever. And so, I don't know, I'm in it for now, at least. We'll see if I make it through the whole thing, through the whole year. But as of right now, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. The writing is so fantastic. Am I learning? Am I obtaining everything? Am I understanding everything? No. I'm just reading the book. Okay, I'm not overanalyzing anything. I'm enjoying the words that he's giving me. Okay, I think sometimes, you're told to really take your time with Marcel Proust and, read a page a day and soak in the words. And that's fine for you. I'm not about that life. So I am reading just a little bit every day. I have finished, I think chapter 1 or whatever, But I am thoroughly enjoying it. I think you can appreciate it without overanalyzing the heck out of it. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm just enjoying it, reading it as I would read a book. I am reading it a bit more slowly because of his writing style. It's like very long sentences, very long passages with lots of commas, tangents within the sentence, but the descriptions of things and the people, and I'm enjoying it. I'm really loving it. So as of right now, I'm in it. We'll see. Cheer me on throughout the year to keep me going on with it, because honestly, I'm kind of interested to see where all this goes. I know this follows the life of this man, right? I think it's somewhat sort of based on Proust's, life. But so far, we're just, Swan's Way in general, from what little bit I didn't even know about it. I didn't even know what the whole book was about. Okay, this is me. Again, I just, a whim, started it. Anyway. And he's reflecting on his life as a child, growing up in, of course, this is a French book. So growing up in, around his family, his family is of a certain station, and there's a guy named, Mr. Swan, essentially, who I think we're going to get into as we go as well. But again, just beautiful descriptions of place, also the people, and also what is going through his mind and what he's thinking as he's observing things. I don't know. I'm interested. I'm gonna hang in there. We will see. Yeah, so I don't know. I did also want to mention something that wouldn't be in my 2025 plans because it's something new. But Sui over at Sui's Book Banter had put forth a little challenge. I'll link her channel and her video below, to read 6 classics this year. And as someone who had decided that I think I would like to try to add more classics in my reading. Last year I think I read like Jane Eyre, maybe a couple other things. I didn't read a lot, and so I have to, you have to purposefully seek, want to read them. You're not going to get them right if you don't read them, right, kind of thing. So of course reading some Marcel Proust will account for that. But I did pull some books that I own, because I am, of course, on my another round of Read What You Own challenge. Now we only need to read 6, but I pulled some that are interesting to me that I can just kind of choose from, throughout the year, should the mood strike. So I got more than 6 here, but this is my little pile of classics that I was interested in. First, now I'm defining a classic as how I want to define it. The King in Yellow by Robert W. Chambers, sort of classic piece of kind of weird fiction, creepy thing. Yeah, there's that one. I do have a Franz Kafka book, America. I've only ever read The Metamorphosis by Kafka, so I don't know much about this book. I don't know if this is a good Kafka book to read. I don't know. It's the one I picked up, I think, from a little free library, so it says it's a comic masterpiece. I might give it a go. I have Kate Chopin's The Awakening. I've had this one for a little while. I have not read any Kate Chopin, so maybe I will read this one. I've got it. Will this be the year I read The Hunchback of Notre Dame by Victor Hugo? I don't know. I've got it on my, I've had it on my shelf, though. I would like to. I really would. Maybe. We'll see. I have Virginia Woolf's Mrs. Dalloway. Actually, I don't think I've read any Virginia Woolf either. Have I read any Virginia Woolf? I'm trying to think. I don't think so. But I own this one, so I can do that one. I've never read George Orwell's 1984. I feel like that's a hole I need to fill in my reading. So I got that one. Also, I'm kind of embarrassed, but I've never read this. The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank. I never had to read it in school or anything, so I think a lot of people probably read it, in school or whatnot. It was not in our curriculum. I feel like I need to read that. And I've got Charlotte Bronte's Villette. Let's read some more of the Bronte sisters, right? I don't know much about Villette. Another governess. Okay, that's all I need to know. So I have this one. So those are kind of my picks for getting some classics in for the year. So I just wanted to highlight that if you're interested in trying to add some classics into your year, Sui has put forth a challenge for us all. So I think that's about it. So that's my January so far, my 2025 so far. I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun so far. Let me know what all you've gotten into, and if you're read what you doing, let me know. I want to know. So thanks for watching. I hope you're doing well and that 2025 is off to a good start for you, and I'll check in later. All right, bye.